So instead of there being nothing in there, what we call a vacuum really means just the absence of electric atoms and molecules. So there's something there that are not electric atoms and molecules. And that's what I'm calling a vacuum level of reality. So the next thing we did is we said, oh boy, let's just take what appears to be the source out of there. Let's take the water vessel and the Faraday cage. Move it away. Move it, long way away and store it so that it's well shielded. And if this was normal reality, then these oscillations would just die away. Well, they don't die away. Not quickly, anyway. What we see here is a case outside of the Faraday cage. The amplitude spectrum, the profile, the spatial profile, okay, on 2 separate days. And you can see that it is slowly decaying, but the decay rate is remarkably slow. And then we found that if we put a natural quartz crystal with its c-axis pointing upwards in the region where the Faraday cage had been, then what we see is that these two, look at 23 and a little over 25. Now we see they're both about 27, and they're closer together. So now here's the difference between September 28 and September 30, 2 days. The decay rate of this stuff is on the order of months, not seconds or microseconds as we're used to finding in our normal level of reality. And then we did another heretical experiment. We looked at the wave oscillations, but we rotated the quartz crystal 90 degrees to the right so that it laid on one of its prism faces and it pointed along the line of those thermistors. This is what we saw. So the pre-quartz crystal is looks very different, the wave, from with the quartz vertically upright. It's just a little bit larger in amplitude. But you rotate it and immediately what you see is an inversion of the wave shape. You see a decrease of the amplitude of the wave by maybe a factor of 2 to 3, and an increase in the frequency of the wave by maybe something like 3 to 5. Wow. It looks like maybe we found some kind of tuning mechanism for whatever is in this level we're calling physical vacuum. So if I just recount what I've walked you through, we think the instruments are accessing a magnetic monopole in order to get this DC magnetic field polarity effect. The temperature oscillations we think do not arise from anything in the air, the electric atom molecules of the air, but in the vacuum state of the room. And thus our working hypothesis is that magnetic monopoles exist at the vacuum level of physical reality. And so a conditioned space has an electromagnetic gauge symmetry state somewhere between the U1 state and the SU2 state. Probably has to be SU2 to yield these properties. And such a condition is that it's a higher thermodynamic free energy per unit volume. And so connecting any two spaces, one at an SU2 state level to one at a U1 state level, the higher one, the SU2, can drive any process in the U1. So I thought, well, if that's the case, is it possible that when we are born, that we either have a body organ or a body system that is at this higher gauge symmetry state? Because if it was, if that were the case, then it would say, hey, this is really what is driving what we think of as the life force of the body. Probably not totally, but it says that you've got something that would drive all the processes of the physical body that our present science thinks is relevant. And so we did studies on humans, and we used the kinesiological technique. We tested muscle strength. We used a world-class kinesiologist. And so with various muscle groups, and we found first the average strength of the muscle, and then we would bring the south pole of a DC magnet close to the muscle group, and we found the arm was stronger. So the muscle was stronger with the south pole, and we turned it around. We're using a bar magnet for this. We turned it around, and with the north pole, it didn't even have to be touching the muscle, just in the near field, and the muscle was weaker. So what we had learned when we looked at humans was the DC magnetic field polarity effect existed there. Well, the proprioceptors in the muscles are connected to the acupuncture meridian system, which are connected to the chakra system. So our conclusion, our working hypothesis, is that the human acupuncture meridian chakra system is at this higher gauge symmetry level, and that is the level that is influenced by human intention, is influenced by human mind. It isn't the coarse level of physical reality, the electric atom molecule level. No, it is this magnetic information wave level that is in the physical vacuum. And basically all humans, and perhaps all vertebrae, have this, what I'll call a chi prana pump, okay, for sake of a better word. So things like meditation, yoga, qigong, sustained, focused intention basically can allow normal folk to become adepts, and then masters, and then avatars.